station staff, management, and advertisers.
What's up, everybody? A very happy Monday. Hope everybody out there had a good weekend. Welcome back, PTL Nation. Glad everybody could join us on what is a very busy news day on a Monday. Oh, yeah. Could be listening on the AM/FM dial. It could possibly be on my YouTube page, I hope, at PTL Radio Show. The Really American Network, glad to be a part of what they are doing, and plenty to get to, a lot of talk about today. Another off-the-rails Donald Trump press conference earlier this morning where he talked about sending the National Guard now to Chicago. Deportation pushes certainly continuing. And Donald Trump's feud, which we're going to get into with Baltimore's, the escalating clash, I guess, with Maryland's governor. What a shocker that he's getting into another clash with an African-American. I mean, I don't know, folks. I'm just shocked to hear that. So we're gonna be talking about all this stuff today, and there certainly is a lot to get to. The right going crazy over these Gavin Newsom memes. We'll get to that as well. And Jim Jordan says he believes Maxwell in this transcript. I mean, it's there's so much to get to today, and I figured what better person to start off our week, the first guest of the week, than my friend, left-wing popular podcaster Ryan Shedd, joining us right now on the program. Ryan, it's good to see you, as a friend. How are you?
I'm doing good, brother, in face of all this craziness. So thanks as always for bringing me on. I think I'm bad luck. Seems like every time you set me up to come on here, that Trump does something insane. And yeah, so we have something great to talk about.
It is crazy. Let me start with this. So the rift that Donald Trump has with the governor of Maryland, and he's threatening to fund the bridge reconstruction. Why? Because this governor does not kiss his ass. I can't think of any other reason why he's doing this, Ryan. What do you make of this? Because they've been going back and forth on social media over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, first off, like you already pointed out, it always seems to be, black individuals that he seems to always go after. But again, it's always interesting to me, the people that were for small government now are all of a sudden in favor of withholding federal funds for things like, to repair a bridge that was knocked down. Like, it's just insane. It's pettiness. It's what a lot of us expected from, Trump 2.0, is that he was going to use his powers to just come in and go after anybody and everything that came after him or didn't do what he wanted to do.
And by the way, I like Governor Moore. I think he's very intelligent, very articulate, cares about
this well.
He's handled it in a very mature manner, but he's not going to be bullied. Yep. I think one day he could be a great president. I've said that, and who knows what happens in 2028. But I like Governor Moore a lot, and I think Donald Trump is messing with the wrong guy here. But just the fact that he's threatening, he does this with everybody. He threatens. This bridge is so important to that economy and the communities surrounding it. He does the same thing anytime there's a natural disaster. He did it in LA with the fires. He'll do it again.
Yep.
What do you make of this law enforcement crackdown, Ryan, as they would say, because now Donald Trump will be sending out the National Guard to Chicago. Oh, yeah, by the way, the mayor of Chicago also happens to be black. I'm sure that's not a coincidence. But what do you make of this now? Because my understanding is the crime rates in Chicago have been dropping as well.
Yeah, the statistics just don't support what he's doing and what he's using as his reason for doing so. Let's just start there. And if you don't think that this is a step towards fascism, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, the dude, you mentioned it in your intro, he sat behind the Resolute desk this morning and said, a lot of people are saying that maybe a dictator would be great.
Yeah.
Like, no, bro, I don't know anybody except for MAGA Muppets saying that, honestly. So it's just insane that we're watching not just police forces, not just ICE, not just the FBI, not just local law enforcement. We're watching the military get deployed. And we're not just talking about National Guard. This dude is willing to put active duty military in American streets against Americans. There's no other way to spin it. There's no other way to cut it. That's exactly what's happening right now. The United States military that a lot of people thought would stand with the American people if we ever came to face to face with a fascist dictator wannabe like Donald Trump, I got news for you. They're not siding with you. They're not siding with us. They're proud to go out there and start yanking people out of cars without warrants. They're happy to do it. And again, as a veteran, let me also take this second to remind you all that if you don't have to abide by an order that is unconstitutional, and arming the military against American citizens is about as unconstitutional as it gets. So you will have massive support in these streets if you refuse those orders.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. By the way, Chicago violent crime, as my producer just informed me, is down 35%. I also find it very interesting that he doesn't really seem to want to lower crime rates in red states, only blue states. If you look at per capita crime rates in other states, there are many Republican governors and Republican mayors out there where their violent crime rates are much higher than what is going on in D.C. and what is going on in Chicago. But why is he not calling out the National Guard? I think there's a couple reasons, and I want to get your thoughts on this. First of all, I do think race is a factor here. When you look at the homeless and you look at how many minorities in D.C. and Chicago, I certainly think that is a factor. I also think it's a factor when you have African Americans that are in power there. Donald Trump likes to go after minorities, in this case, African Americans that happen to be mayors or governors. And thirdly, they're Democrats. So he's not going to go after somebody that's a Republican in their own party. So he doesn't really care about lowering crime. This is just tough guy. The base is going to love this. Let's go after these colored people in these cities. That's what I think.
Well, and again, I don't even want to I don't want to personally generalize just, folks of color. Like you said, he's going after Democrats. He's going after liberals. He's going after Democrat-run cities. And the reason he's doing that is even more nefarious than what you said. It's because he wants control. He wants loyalists in those positions, because he knows that in 2028, when it comes down to election time and having to certify the elections, he needs to have loyalists in as many of those positions as possible. And what best way to get people voted out than to say, I'm going to withhold federal funding from your projects, from things like bridges and homeless shelters and all sorts of things, and to say, but if you vote Republican, I'll put this money back into your community.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Absolutely insane. And now we're going to see the same nonsense going on in Chicago. And I just think
there's 14 others. I think in addition to Chicago, I think it's 13. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Right.
But like he's not just sending these into 2 cities. He is deploying military into 14 American cities right now. And if you go look at the list, as Brian pointed out, there aren't many red cities on that list.
Yeah. It's sickening to me. And while all this is going on, Ryan, we see the far right, upset that they won't be going to Cracker Barrel anymore. Ryan, I laugh at this stuff. Like, what is the issue here? Like, I see James Woods and these far right idiots freaking out. Oh my God, I can't go to Cracker Barrel anymore. I grew up with Cracker Barrel. I can't. Like, what is the issue here? What are they complaining about? Like, I don't get it.
The same people that were saying that all these other things weren't offensive. Oh, it was no big deal. Now they're crying and clutching their pearls over a frickin' restaurant's logo. Like, do you people not have anything better to do? Like, so many things have been made up about this guy. Like, oh, the person in the logo was a slave owner. And I'm like, to me, it's an old guy sitting next to a barrel, a wooden barrel, Cracker Barrel. Got it. Like, it made sense to me. If you've ever been in a Cracker Barrel, the logo made sense for the inside of the place. Like,
I
personally don't care.
I'm so sick of these idiots. The Sweeney stuff that was fabricated by the far right. Every single one of these things made up by the far right. And if they see one left-leaning person on Twitter complaining about something, they assume that's the left. That's the left. When you have 1 or 2 people that are complaining about something, it's so stupid.
It is. But again, these people, they make these generalizations. They don't do any homework. And even when you do the homework for them, and you post court documents and information and even videos of people saying the stuff themselves, they will still find a way to dismiss it. It is why the MAGA movement and the Trump voters will be studied for decades to come in history books, because we will look back at this and go, wow, that was crazy times that this dude actually was in power.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And, they're not talking about what I would consider much more important issues. Now, Trump was talking about Ukraine, the war there with Russia, and he was asked about this war, and he was asked, now Putin doesn't want to meet with Zelensky, which is not a shocker, by the way. Remember when the White House last week, they were gloating and bragging about how he's going to get these two guys together? I didn't think it would ever happen. And now it appears like it's not going to happen. And Donald Trump was asked about that today. Why does Putin not want to meet with Zelensky? His stupid answer, well, I don't think they like each other. I don't think he likes him. That was his brilliant answer. And then he starts blaming Joe Biden. It's Joe Biden's war. I'm going to end the war in 24 hours. Well, I don't think they like each other. I thought you were the brilliant negotiator. What happened there?
Yeah, I mean, we saw that coming. And I want to also point out that it was a day or two ago that the American government / Trump administration prevented Ukraine and Zelensky from a Russia strike, and their reasoning for doing so was to try to bring Putin to the table, that Trump didn't think bombing him was a way to bring him to the table. And it's like, you really don't get it, dude. Like, you just don't understand. There's no way that you should be in charge of our military because you don't understand the basic principles of OPSEC security, like nothing. Watching this guy as a veteran, it's like daily mind-numbing insanity. And so many people either aren't paying attention or what. Like, me personally, I'm going to tell you where I'm at with it. We're in a civil war. Like, I don't know if y'all realized it, but it started. So we have our own stuff going on here. As much as I side with Ukraine, I will never side with Putin and Russia. They have my support. But I also need us to focus on what's going on here, because we've got our own dictator, Putin wannabe, in the White House right now. And I don't know if y'all noticed this either, but we're only like 6, 7, 8 months in. Like, we got a long way to go. And I don't know personally. Let me ask you, do you think that we can afford to wait until midterms?
Well, I don't think we're going to have
the rate that things are going.
I don't think we're going to have a choice unless he croaks. I mean, I'm being honest. Like, it's funny. I was having this conversation with my neighbor today. We were talking about Trump's health, right? And obviously his health isn't very good. He's a large man. Let's just call him obese, because that's what he is. He clearly doesn't eat, doesn't exercise, and he's 80 years old. But I tell people, some of the worst people in society, sometimes they'll smoke their entire life and eat crap and live to 120. So you certainly can't rely on that. I don't think there's a choice. I think the only real true choice here is when people vote for the midterms and see how that goes. Hopefully get some of these MAGA idiots out of power, these MAGA morons that are afraid of Donald Trump. But I don't think there's any other way. People have to show up. They have to vote for the midterms and then focus on 2028. And listen, the Democrats' message has not always been great, but I will give Kamala Harris a lot of credit for this. Kamala Harris warned us about this. She said that he was going to do this. She said that it would be dictator-like behavior. She said that he'd be deploying troops at people that don't like him or just disagree with him. She said that he would take down CBS and NBC and other networks or attempt to do that just because he doesn't like their message. She warned us about this.
Yeah. I mean, again, we're getting rid of the Department of Education. We're getting rid of PBS. He's trying to control the media. There is no other way to interpret that. So again, you have somebody sending, law enforcement and military into cities without warrants, and a man trying to control the media. I just don't know what other definition you can come up with besides, authoritarian or dictatorship, something along fascism. We are in that arena in the dictionary. So there's no other way to interpret this, folks.
Yeah,
so
it's an oligarchy.
While I agree with you that, of course, we need to push for midterms and fight for every candidate we want, absolutely. But also, I do want to remind folks that there are options for removing this guy. We just need the people that are in elected positions to somehow grow a conscience and some courage and to actually go through with it. If you're going to impeach him, the Senate needs to actually convict him. There are tools in place to remove him. Let's call it what it is. The people that are currently elected, most of them, there are a few that aren't, But most of the people that are currently in elected positions don't have the courage to do what needs to be done to take care of this guy because they're too worried about their jobs, their future, their whatever, redistricting. I don't care. But it's like you're worried about the wrong things. Your job at the end of the day is to protect us, the American citizens, and we are under attack. And honestly, while black folks and all people of color are under way more attack than somebody that looks like me, everybody that's on the left, considered a liberal and even independents, you are under attack right now too. You may not see it yet, but you are. So please prepare for what is coming in the next few months.
Yeah, I think we all need to prepare. You're right about that, right? Go ahead. You wanted to say something else? Go ahead.
I wanted to say, keep the pressure on these elected officials. You guys that are showing up and not letting them just come and spout their nonsense. It matters. It's getting attention. It is all over social media when you all show up and say, no, that is not an acceptable answer. No, your job is to work for me. I voted for you. Keep doing that. Keep calling up the representatives. And then if they don't give you the answer that you like, go find somebody that's willing to fight. They may not win the fight, but at least find somebody that's willing to fucking fight.
Yeah, no doubt. So again, if you're just joining us, he is Ryan Shedd. He is
spun up today. If you didn't notice, Brian,
left-leaning podcaster. He's fired up and he's ready to go.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So Ryan, a lot of things are happening right now, but I find over the weekend some people forget about the Epstein files and they forget about what is so despicable, the way Maxwell has been treated. You could make the argument that George Santos is being treated worse than Maxwell right now, and you have people like Jim Jordan and other right-wing idiots that are taking Maxwell's transcript and they're trying to give her credibility. These are the same people that talked about pedophiles. These are the same people that talked about sex trafficking. And yet they're taking what Maxwell says, who is a proven liar and one of the biggest sex traffickers in American history. And now all of a sudden they're trying to give her credibility with anything she says as being truth.
Yeah. Well, and again, pay attention to how things happened, right? They have a meeting, and then within days she's moved to a cushier location. And then once she's moved and she knows that, that's all done, she's like, okay, cool. I'm going to go through with the plan that we all agreed on. And if you think that somebody that covered for Jeffrey Epstein for decades, doing what he did, isn't going to lie her ass off to get out of prison if she's guaranteed on the back end by a sitting president that has basically immunity from the Supreme Court, isn't going to lie to you and tell you exactly what they want her to tell you, you're insane. You're insane. And
I agree.
I want to also, if you allow me, Virginia Guffrey, she passed away, I think it was back in April. And she has a book coming out. And one of her last wishes was that this book see the light of day. So I challenge everybody that when this book comes out, I think it's coming out next month, go buy it and read it. And then come tell me that we should listen to Ghislaine Maxwell or believe anything that comes out of her mouth.
Maxwell is a monster. She is a monster. And all the innocent teenagers, children, that the abuse that they had to go through, it pains me to talk about it. And the fact that the Trump administration is defending Trump and doing everything to defend Trump. And if that means put, Maxwell in a penthouse, they would do it. And that's what is so beyond sick to me. And it's absolutely repulsive.
I still think we're going to see her released.
Boy, would that be, and you know what? Any MAGA person out there that's okay with that. I mean, not that they have any credibility to begin with, Ryan.
At this point, yeah.
But but I mean, what a sad day that will be for the country if, in fact, she does get pardoned. And you think that's actually going to happen?
Yeah, something in me just says that they're going to find a way, whether it's through her appeal or something. I think that the plan that they have set up for her, I don't think we've seen the completion yet.
So that's what we've seen over the weekend. Donald Trump going after a bunch of black people and sending in the National Guard to a bunch of cities that are run by Democrats mostly and black people. Donald Trump saying today he's not racist. Donald Trump saying today he's not a dictator. Donald Trump saying today that, well, this is tougher than I thought with this Putin-Zelensky thing. And I think, Putin, he just doesn't like Zelensky. They just don't like each other. I mean, what a national embarrassment once again.
Tell me something I didn't know.
Ryan, it's just I know it's just unbelievable every day with this guy. It's exhausting.
Every day.
Yeah, but let's talk
Every
about
day.
Cracker Barrel and let's start whining and complaining about that. Who are the real snowflakes here? It's sick, my man. Before I let you go, I wanted to give you the opportunity, Ryan. Tell us about your 2 podcasts that you
Yes.
got going right now, and your new one, which
No.
is awesome.
So busy. But again, thank you so much for having me on,
Sure.
and thanks to the producers and the people behind the scenes that make this show go. I always look forward to these conversations. But yeah, you can find me at Ryan Shed, SHEAD. You type that into Google, I come up everywhere. But I have 2 podcasts. One is Hold the Mic that I do with my old high school friend, Ian Sherman. Been doing that one for about 2 years. And then I have a new one now with Marcus Flowers, who you may know
Yep.
from Georgia. He ran against Margie Taylor Greene back in 2020.
I wish
So
he
we
won.
haven't. Dude, me too. Hey, he got a 10-point swing in I think it was a 30-point Republican district. So, I mean, while he didn't win, he made a hell of a dent.
Yeah.
So it's been a pleasure to get to know him better behind the scenes as we've ramped up our new show, With All Due Respect. That's on Wednesdays around, I think, 3 o'clock Eastern. So, yeah, please go check my YouTube out under Ryan Shed and keep supporting shows like this, because we're trying to get the message out there. We're trying to get the left's message out there. So shows like Brian's here, it is important. And the only way that we can continue doing what we do is if you hit that like and subscribe button. So as always, appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate it. Same goes to you as well. And hope you have a great week, my friend. And look forward to catching up with you soon, Ryan. Thanks so
Yes,
much
sir.
for the time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Check out his 2 podcasts. That's Ryan Shed, everybody. All right, here's what we are going to do. We have some audio to play for you. Jim Jordan trying to normalize Maxwell. That's right, Gymnasium Jordan himself. We'll have that audio for you. Mark Levin losing it in regards to these Gavin Newsom memes. And this J.D. Vance interview with Welker over the weekend made J.D. Vance look like the imbecile that he is. We'll play some audio from there. And Maryland Governor Wes Moore just destroying Donald Trump on the national networks over the weekend, too. We have all that audio to play for you. And, of course, your phone calls on the other side. We'll take a quick 90-second break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn?
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Pushing the Limits on a Monday. Thank you so much for joining us. Little programming note for you. A couple guests joining us on the show tomorrow, some of my favorite guests. Ron Filipkowski from Midas Touch is going to be joining us on the show tomorrow. And Justin Wolfers, a brilliant economist. You've seen him on pretty much every national network. Talking about these tariffs and how it's damaging the country and the world, quite frankly. A brilliant economist, Justin Wolfers, will be joining us on the show tomorrow as well. So certainly we are looking forward to that. So a lot to get to and a lot to talk about today. I mentioned to you guys the president has threatened funding for bridge construction in Baltimore due to an escalating clash with Maryland's governor, Wes Moore. Now, Wes Moore has been taking the offensive here, and he will not bend the knee to Donald Trump. So this was a few interviews he did over the course of the weekend on the national networks where he was responding to some of the attacks from Donald Trump. Now, I know some of you are probably very surprised that Donald Trump is going after an African American because, you know, he never does stuff like that. But listen here. Here we have audio of Maryland Governor Wes Moore saying that he will not bend the knee to Donald Trump. It's great audio, and this could be our next president. It's very possible. Have a listen to this.
Why, though, are you so opposed to this deployment?
Well, there's plenty of reasons. One, it is not sustainable. You cannot continue this type of pace of operations, particularly when it's costing over $1 million a day in order to do this. The second, it's not scalable. You're not going to be able to do this in every single major American city, particularly when many of the cities that have the highest crime rates are the places that have actually deployed their National Guards to Washington, D.C. So who's going to go do the work in their cities? The third, it's unconstitutional. It's a direct violation of the 10th Amendment. And if for a party that talks about state rights, it's amazing how they're having such a big government approach in the way they're conducting public safety. The fourth reason is because it's deeply disrespectful to the members of the National Guard. As someone who actually deployed overseas and served my country in combat, to ask these men and women to do a job that they're not trained for is just deeply disrespectful. And so when we're thinking about all of these lasting factors, when we're thinking about the fact that it serves as a distraction from the fact that the president's disastrous economic policies are making everything more expensive for everyday Americans and making life harder for everyday Americans, there is a multitude of reasons that I am against this, and I will not authorize the Maryland National Guard to be utilized for this.
So there you go. I mean, Governor Moore saying it himself, and I don't think anybody could have said it any better. Now, he makes it very clear. Again, he did a couple interviews on the national networks. And you notice how he's not getting into the tit for tat. I mean, he did say on social media that Donald Trump is the guy who dodged the military. Why are we not looking into that? He claimed Trump faked an injury, which we know he did with the bone spurs stuff. And of course, Donald Trump attacks back. But this is Wes Moore saying it himself that he will not authorize this mission to bring the National Guard into Maryland. And he is not aligned with Donald Trump.
Would you be open, Governor, to a Trump decision to move federal troops, military personnel into Baltimore along the same lines as he's done here in Washington, D.C.?
I would not be open to it, and I do not find it to be mission critical nor mission aligned. And it's something that I take very seriously. Whereas, as someone who's actually worn the uniform of this country, unlike the President of the United States, as someone who had to deploy, as someone who's had to say goodbye to my families, as someone who understands the gravity of what it means when you are asking our brave men and women to be able to mobilize and deploy, it is something that I take very seriously, especially understanding that these are citizen soldiers. These are people who have other jobs. And these are people who also have other missions that they have to attend to. Because right now, we have a storm that's coming up the East Coast that we have all of our people on standby to make sure that everyone is going to be safe. But instead of that, we now have members of the National Guard from states around the country who are patrolling the streets of Washington, D.C., doing a function that they are not trained for. So no, if you look at the work we are doing and the results that we are showing, knowing that there's more work to be done, but that we're actually working together to accomplish it, there is not a need for members of the National Guard to patrol our municipal areas. That's what local law enforcement is for, and I will not authorize members of the Maryland National Guard to take on a mission like this if I do not deem it to be mission critical.
Amen, Wes Moore. Amen. That is a strong man. I'm a big fan of Wes Moore. I think one day he could be a great president. I don't know when his time will be. I don't know if he's going to run for president. I'm telling you right now, that guy has it. You just know when somebody has it. He has it. And I would support him for president. I think he would be a great president. Really, really intelligent guy and on the right side of history. And Donald Trump decided to mess with the wrong person. That is for sure. So there's been a little while since I started talking about J.D. Vance. It's been a little bit, the couch sexual assaulter himself, allegedly. So J.D. Vance embarrassing himself once again, lying on national television. So Welker did an interview with J.D. Vance over the weekend. It aired yesterday. And I want you to listen to J.D. Vance blatantly lying. How is he lying? Well, because Russia has said, on the record, the Kremlin has said, that they want to veto power over security guarantees. And here is J.D. Vance lying about Russians' position on American television. It's such a blatant lie. Have a listen to this.
We can.
Just to boil down what the Russian concessions might look like, is the only thing that President Trump is asking Russia to give up is not to invade all of Ukraine?
No, that's not it at all. It's providing the Ukrainians the kind of security guarantees that ensures that the country is not going to be invaded again. And this is really, this is why I think we've made a lot of progress, Kristen. Even though we're not yet there, why we've made a lot of progress is fundamentally the disagreement here is over security guarantees versus where you draw the battle lines in Ukraine. So whether we solve those issues, we've actually identified the two critical issues, one to the Ukrainians, one to the Russians. And I think that that is where the fruit, if we ultimately solve this thing, that's where the fruit of an agreement will come.
I want to get to...
That's a blatant lie. That's absolutely false, what J.D. Vance just said. The Russians have said they want to veto power over those security guarantees. J.D. Vance is lying to the American people, kissing Vladimir Putin's ass. That's what they always do. You had Donald Trump who said, well, Putin doesn't want to meet with Zelensky because he doesn't like him. You have J.D. Vance lying in a national interview about Russia's position. It's a joke. And here's another clip from this interview that shows you how stupid J.D. Vance is when it comes to our history and the human history of conflicts around the world. Listen to how he believes or claims that most human conflicts were resolved. Have a listen to this.
I want to get to security guarantees, but very quickly, if Russia is allowed to keep any of the territory that it illegally seized, what message does that send to China? Does it give China a green light to invade Taiwan? Does it give Russia a green light to invade other European countries, which is what your European allies are concerned about?
Well, first of all, the Ukrainians are going to ultimately make the determination about where you draw the territorial lines in their own country. But, Kristen, this is how wars ultimately get settled. If you go back to World War II, if you go back to World War I, if you go back to every major conflict in human history, they all end with some kind of negotiation. We're actually not active parties in the negotiation. We're effectively mediating. We're trying to mediate the Ukrainians and the Russians to come to some agreement. If the Ukrainians are willing to say something on territory that brings the conflict to the close, we're not going to stop them. We're also not going to force them because it's not our country. We're trying to play a constructive role. The president is trying to play a constructive role to bring peace to the region, but he's not going to force these parties to walk through the door. All he can do is open the door and ask them to negotiate in good faith.
What a complete idiot. Did you hear what J.D. Vance just said? He just said most conflicts end in negotiation. That is fundamentally not true, and he's an idiot. It's usually through conquest. It's not through, getting two people at the table and making negotiations, but yet somehow J.D. Vance thinks that every conflict in the world, or most of the conflicts in the world, end with negotiation. That is our vice president, who certainly doesn't understand history. He's lying. Either he's lying or he's a complete idiot, or maybe both. Speaking of idiots, you see these Gavin Newsom memes all over social media. They are absolutely hilarious. And really what they are is mocking Donald Trump. But the idiots on the far right don't understand that because they're buffoons. Everything that Gavin Newsom is doing, or whether it comes to these memes or his staff putting out these tweets, it's showing you how ridiculous Donald Trump is. Only they're replacing Donald Trump with Gavin Newsom. Not because this is how Gavin Newsom thinks, but they're trying to show you how ridiculous Donald Trump is, and we can't normalize his behavior, whether it be a tweet, something he said on social media, or whether it be him looking like Superman. And I want you to listen to this complete bozo, Mark Levin, who is just a despicable human being and ugly on the inside and out. And I want you to listen to this man who clearly is suffering from Trump fellatio syndrome. Listen to how angry he is at these Gavin Newsom memes. It's hilarious.
I personally hope he is the nominee, such a loser. It's a sanctuary state, California, one of 13, by the way. Sanctuary state. I've talked at length about this whole idea of nullification and the neo-Confederacy, and that Gavin Newsom is a nullifier, and he's a Confederate. Oh, yes, he's a Confederate. Apparently so brilliant are my comments that others are repeating them now. But he's a nullifier, and he's a Confederate, a good old Democrat who pretends to be a progressive.
Yeah, okay, Mark. If Israel decided to bomb the United States, you would probably defend Israel, you loser. You're the loser. You look like 300 pounds of chewed bubblegum. What are you, 4 feet tall? And he goes on the air every day spreading propaganda. It could be Russian propaganda. It could be defending Benjamin Netanyahu when thousands of innocent people are dying in Gaza of hunger. And Mark Levin continues to side with Israel. Or you can do a fluffer interview with Don Jr., or Eric Trump. He'll never interview anybody that disagrees with him because Mark Levin is a coward. And those people out there that think they're the smartest are usually the dumbest. He calls himself a constitutionalist, a constitutionalist. Does anybody even watch Mark Levin anymore? Does anyone watch his show on Fox News anymore? And he's so angry at these Gavin Newsom tweets and these memes making fun of his orange turd rapist leader. It's so pathetic, these people in right-wing media. They are so pathetic. They are so ignorant and boring. And if you want to talk about somebody who's an expert at looking the other way when it comes to sex abuse incidents, then look no further than Gymnasium Jordan. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, Gymnasium Jordan. Because Jim Jordan was on Fox News over the weekend, and he says because Ghislaine Maxwell in a transcript said that Donald Trump didn't do anything wrong, she must be telling the truth, and let's move on to something else. Here is literally the guy who looked away from sex abuse incidents that happened at a school where he was a coach, and he's now defending and putting credibility towards one of the biggest sex traffickers to ever walk the face of the earth in Maxwell and giving her credibility. Have a listen to this.
We'll see. What I know is they didn't release parts of the transcript. They released the whole transcript. And you know, so you can go through the whole thing. And, of course, this confirms what we all knew. If the Democrats, if President Trump had done something wrong, you don't think the Democrats would have released that? I mean, it was their Justice Department who handled all this. You don't think the Garland Justice Department and the Chris Wray FBI would have released information? We knew President Trump didn't do anything wrong here. He said that repeatedly. This transcript is the whole transcript, and it confirms that. So yeah, I think this is there's nothing there. It seems based on what we got from the interview of Miss Maxwell.
So let me get this right, Gymnasium Jordan, you piece of human garbage, you. The people that you are giving credibility to on the honor system is an adjudicated rapist in Donald J. Trump and one of the biggest sex traffickers ever to walk the face of the earth in Maxwell. Those are his two sources. Why don't they release the entire Epstein files then? And if your argument, because I hear this all the time from the right, which is, well, Joe Biden would have released it. If Donald Trump was in there, Joe Biden would have released it. First of all, I've always believed that there are very prominent people on the left and the right that are in these files. That doesn't excuse it. Release the files. I said it when Joe Biden was president. I'm saying it now. I'm not saying it just because Donald Trump is in the files. I'm saying it because I want the victims to get justice. But Gymnasium Jordan does not want the files to be released. He will continue to defend his orange man rapist, and he will continue to side with Donald Trump and one of the biggest sex traffickers in the world in Maxwell. Can you imagine if Democrats did this? Oh, well, look at your source. You defend sex traffickers. We would hear that day and night. And you know what? Rightfully so. But that's what Gymnasium Jordan is doing here. He's defending a sex trafficker and a child abuser. Open up the phone lines now. 702-221-7283. Again, that number is 702-221-SAVE. 702-221-7283. We are also in the YouTube Super Chat, where your questions and comments will be heard in the YouTube Super Chat. For anybody that wants to be a part of it, you could also make donations at pushingthelimits.live. Thank you, Dave, for your donation. He went to pushingthelimits.live and made a donation. We appreciate that, Dave. Jessica made a donation, and Jessica says, Brian, I love your show. I listen to it every day. You help get me through the day. Well, thank you, Jessica, and thank you for your donation. So as I mentioned before, and I mentioned again, we are in the YouTube Super Chat for your questions and comments to be heard. If you don't want to call in, but if you do want to call in, you're welcome to. And here's what I am asking all of you. What do you make of Donald Trump sending in the National Guard to Chicago and 13 other cities? What do you make of Donald Trump saying he's not a dictator? What do you make of Donald Trump giving excuses for Putin and the reason why Putin refuses to meet with Zelensky? Because he doesn't like him. That's what Donald Trump said this morning. We are talking about that. And of course, we're talking about the Wes Moore, Donald Trump back and forth over the weekend, where I think Wes Moore is just destroying Donald Trump with facts, and Donald Trump is making himself look like the imbecile he is. All right, that number to call, 702-221-7283, is the number to call. Who are we going to first? Let's go to Eric. Aaron is first up on PTL. Sorry about that. Aaron, what's on your mind today?
Hey, I just, what he's doing with this National Guard is literally what Stalin did during the Russian Revolution in 1970. You know, he's trying to change history to his what he deems necessary to make him look favorable. Using military like the Russians did, you know, during the revolution, take control and turned into a communist country. I don't understand how people don't correlate this together.
Well, I think it's the same reason why they don't correlate him being in the Epstein files with his long-lasting history of sexual abuse. It's the same reason why they don't correlate, you know, him every single day lying on a regular basis and going after brown people. You know, there's all a correlation here. He's a wannabe dictator. He's clearly a racist and a bigot. He's a criminal. He's a 34-count felon, and he's an abuser. But these people that still support him don't correlate that, and they want to talk about Cracker Barrel. You know, they're not very intelligent people. They're brainwashed.
And that's the same thing. Like, they're trying to say he's chosen by God. Well, anyone who's actually read the Bible read Revelation 13, where the Antichrist takes a shot to the head and everyone cheers and that, right? You know, they don't look at that aspect of it and how he's going to have all these fake followers. You know, they literally, what's the word I'm looking for? They contradict themselves consistently.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how people can hold up those value systems anymore.
I agree with you. I agree with you 150%, my friend. And I appreciate the call. The Republican Party, they talk about family values, right? The Republican Party and MAGA Republicans continually talk about the nuclear family. Yet they support an adjudicated abuser, a man who has been accused of sexually assaulting or raping over 25 women, who's never been faithful to one woman in his life, a terrible father, a terrible husband. He's the opposite of what a nuclear family should look like. But yet they still support him, and they want to talk about God and the Bible from the guy who literally sells the Bible for profit. 702-221-7283, the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. Let's see here. Let's go to California. Let's go to Dave. Dave calling out of California. Hello, Dave.
Hey, Brian. How you doing? Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Can I say something, please? Just make it quick before I ask my question. Can you listeners and millions of people that are listening to the show, can you stop listening to these stupid Republicans and don't vote for them on the midterms? I would appreciate it, because right now you got farmers that are basically selling their crops because you got stupid J.D. Vance who are buying the crops to basically turn them into real estate. You know, you got to get more expensive stuff. There's going to be more expensive stuff in the damn grocery store, all because all these people are sent to other countries and people are selling the crops. So now that I got that out and people are losing their Medicaid, 13 million people, I want to say one thing to all the Republicans out there and all the MAGA. Thank you very much for making my life miserable. I really appreciate that. You see how stupid you are?
Yeah.
There. Now that I got that out, my question is this. You know, now that I got that out, these people are a bunch of crooks, and I'm sick and tired of them. I mean, you heard about him signing all the executive orders.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that we have to undo all the executive orders if the Democrats take office? We have to undo them all.
Yeah.
He signed a lot of them. So can you imagine how long it's going to take? So basically what he wants this country to be miserable, all because he's a miserable, stupid man. He's miserable. And he wants everybody to be just as miserable as he is. And I'm sick of it.
I'm sick of it too, my
Thank
friend.
you.
Yeah, thank you, Dave, for the phone call. Really good call. I hear it, the anger, and I don't blame you, the frustration. I'm sick of it as well. I'm sick of so many idiots in this country that continue to support and defend this guy. And you're right, he is miserable. He's probably never had real love in his life. Nobody ever probably truly loved him. Clearly, his parents are wackos, and his father, who was arrested at a Klan rally, clearly his father, Fred, was a complete maniac imbecile, and he's a very damaged man. He's a terrible human being. We know that for sure. And it's upsetting. And I appreciate your call, 702-221-7283. Let's go to Brandon. Brandon is next up on PTL. Hello, Brandon.
Hey, good afternoon, Brian. I hope you had a good weekend. I just I'm tuning in here. I just don't understand why you're making race an issue, accusing Trump of being a racist. He's not. I mean, how is it racist by him cracking down on these major cities? I don't understand.
Sure, I'll answer you. I'll answer you, my friend. So first of all, these cities that he has talked about, they all happen to have black mayors. So let me ask you a question then. Why is it that he'd go into D.C. and Chicago when per capita the crime rates are lower than they are in many other cities across the country that have white Republican mayors and white Republican governors? Why is that, sir?
Well, quite frankly, the culture of the inner cities that are ran in Chicago, D.C.
The culture?
Yeah, the culture.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, the black culture.
Oh, okay.
The black culture.
The black culture. Okay, so let me ask you a question. Was it black culture on January 6th in D.C.? Was that black culture, sir? What would you call that?
Patriotism.
No. Patriotism. Okay, so it's black culture when it's crime, but if you beat police officers on January 6th, that's patriotism. Is that what you're saying, sir? Is that what you're saying? Because you sound like
and the black
okay. Well, then you're an idiot.
Ashley
Then you're an idiot. Then you're an idiot. Okay, keep him on. Don't hang up on him. Ashley Babbitt was an idiot. She went in on January 6th, broke the law. She deserved it. And for you to call people who beat police officers patriots makes you probably a white supremacist. So my question for you, sir, is what time is your Klan rally tonight?
I'm not part of the KKK.
Let me ask you. Yeah, you are the KKK. Let me ask you another question, you imbecile racist turd. Let me ask you another question. Since you think beating police officers on January 6th makes you a patriot, what would you say about Black Lives Matter protesters that beat police officers? What would you say about them? Are they patriots too?
They're savages.
Okay, so you're a savage if you're black and you beat a cop, but if you're a white person and you beat a cop on January 6th, you're a patriot. Is that your take, sir?
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. That's exactly what you said. You said if you beat a cop on January 6th, you're a patriot. And I just asked you, what if you beat a cop during Black Lives Matter protests and you called them savages? I caught you because you're a racist. Why don't you at least own it and admit that you're a racist, you white supremacist?
Everybody.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Not everybody beat a cop.
I didn't ask you about everybody, you stupid idiot. Answer my question. I'm going to ask it one more time, you white supremacist doofus moron, you. I didn't say everybody, you jackass. Answer my question. If you beat a cop on January 6th, we know people were charged and convicted and we've all saw the video. If you beat a cop on January 6th, does that make you a patriot? Because that's what you said.
I mean, you can be a patriot and a criminal at the same time.
What would you call somebody who beats a police officer?
Not a very good guy.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you now for a fourth time and answer the question, you white supremacist idiot. If you beat a cop on January 6th, what does that make you?
It makes you a criminal.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Why was that so hard for you to admit? So here's my question for you, sir. When I asked you that question and you immediately called them a patriot, but yet when I ask you the same question about a Black Lives Matter protest, you call them animals. Why is that, sir?
Because they burned down buildings or looting.
And what did they do on January 6th? What did they do on January 6th? By the way, I don't condone that behavior. They're criminals as well. Yes, they did. They destruction of property. Are you kidding me? Defecating on Nancy Pelosi's desk, breaking windows. What the hell are you talking? She deserves it. She deserves it. Yeah. So you think it's okay if you disagree with a politician, you're totally okay with any everyday citizen walking in there and taking a crap on somebody's desk. Sir, you are not a serious person. You are Donald Trump's base. You are a white supremacist turd is what you are. And I hope you get deported to Gaza. And I mean that, sir. You are a racist idiot.
Why are you raising your voice?
Yeah. Okay. I'm raising my voice because you're a moron. That's why. And you're wasting my airtime. You are your typical Donald Trump supporter. We caught you. Proof that you are a racist. Apparently, if you beat a cop at a Black Lives Matter protest, you're an animal and a criminal. But yet, when I ask you that question about January 6th and people who beat cops, you're a patriot. That makes you a white supremacist, racist piece of garbage. That's what you are. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. Let's go to Dave. Dave is next on PTL. Hey, Dave.
Hey, Brian, how you doing, man? Good job. That guy's an idiot, man. I'd like to punch him right in his face. I'll tell you what, that guy doesn't deserve the airtime for nothing. And he doesn't even mention the right-wingers had something to do with those burning down the buildings and stuff. You know,
No, and
an idiot.
that's another thing. There were a lot of agitators, but I think you're gonna agree with me on this one. There is a fundamental difference between what took place on January 6th and Black Lives Matter protests. Now, I don't condone any violence in any protest, but tens of millions of people were protesting during Black Lives Matter's protest for equality. You had a bunch of idiots on January 6th, even people that didn't commit crimes. The majority of those people on January 6th are idiots and imbeciles that believe that Donald Trump won the election. So you have a bunch of morons there, some of whom criminals. You had some agitators at Black Lives Matter protests, but the overwhelming majority of those people at those protests were protesting for equality, while you had a bunch of dumb idiots in D.C. on January 6th that believed that Donald Trump won the election in 2020. That's the fundamental difference.
Hey, Brian, and another thing, I can tell you right now, and I'll put money on this, that guy is not going to live past Christmas. I'll tell you what, he's so swollen up right now, but he's going to burn this country down, and he's going to tear it down as fast as he,
Well, I don't know if that's true or not, but here's what I will tell you, my friend. It's going to take decades to recover from the damage that Donald Trump is doing to this country. Don't think that if the Democrats have a good midterms and you have a Democrat that wins the president in 2028, that everything's going to be hunky-dory. It's not. We'll be happy. We'll be headed in the right direction. But Donald Trump has done so much damage to this country, not just in his first administration, but in the first 7 months of this administration. It's going to take decades to recover from this. Thank you for the call. Thank you for the call, sir. I appreciate you. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Rhonda. Rhonda is next up on PTL. Hey, Rhonda, what's going on?
Oh, hi. It's Rhonda from Northwest Indiana.
Thank you for calling in. What's on your mind today?
Yeah, I just want to let you know about an incident or something that happened to me over the weekend. I was helping a friend at a pork fest, and the booth next to us was all Trump paraphernalia.
Oh, Jesus.
And it made me sick to be right by them like that.
Ugh.
But I don't think they have the sales that they used to. They were claiming they sold out. They didn't. And I asked them, show me something here that was made in the United States.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing. They're all made in China. You're right about
Nothing
that.
at all.
They're so stupid.
And
yeah, all this
it
stuff
was
is made in
just
China.
disgusting to be next to them.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. You got to be careful how close you get to these MAGA supporters. You don't want to get the MAGA herpes. So you got to.
Yeah, I hear you.
You got to.
I hear you there. I agree with you.
You got to stay away.
But I did see where Gavin Newsom has some articles, and his stuff is union made here in the United States. So I would encourage people to buy that.
Very, very important.
And your stuff.
Thank you, my dear. That's nice of you to say. I appreciate you. Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it? Because most of Donald Trump's crap that he sells are made in China, just like the Trump Bibles. They're made in China for like $3, and he sells it for $60. But yeah, that's definitely America first, isn't it? Look at all of his businesses. It's an absolute joke. 702-221-7283, the number to call. Let's go to Mark. Mark is next up on PTL. Hi, Mark.
Hey, Brian. To the that MAGA caller.
Yeah, Brandon.
I hope you get locked up into a goddamn concentration camp and you're tortured for the rest of your life. Because I lost all my patience with you MAGAs. I couldn't give a shit about any.
Watch the language. Watch the language. We got to watch the language. Go ahead.
Sorry about that.
All right. That's all right.
And two more things. Yeah. One thing, I did have a great weekend.
Good.
Mainly because I was in Weiss supermarket parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
And on the way out, there was a Ford F-150. And the owner asked me if I had jumper cables. And on the back of his bumper, he had a Trump sticker.
Oh, no.
And without hesitation, I told him my jumper cables only work on Democratic cars and trucks. Sorry. And he just looked at me and I went, oh, well, and I walked away, which gave me great satisfaction. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about is the military. It was basically to fight off enemy from within and also enemies. I forgot the basic oath that I took. It was so long ago, but it's domestic and international terrorists or criminals, what have you. And I remember taking the oath. And I'm telling you that this military force is going to be the downfall of this country, because Trump is not giving the order to the soldiers and Marines. Trump is giving the order to the Pentagon, which Hegseth is going to release to the generals, who in turn are going to release it to the commanders, and the commanders are going to tell the soldiers.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I was a part of this. They are going to obey orders. They are not going to state that we can't do this, because every base has we called it a stockade.
Yep.
But I'm going to tell you, they're going to be thrown into jail without trial, without nothing, if you don't follow these orders, and that will be told to them. And you think they're going to protect you. They're not. They're going to be the enemy. The military, hard to believe, is going to be our enemy once this goes into full-blown takeover.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me, Mark.
Trust me when I tell you.
No, I do. I'm not saying you're wrong. Good to hear from you, Mark. I appreciate your phone call. Again, that number 702-221-7283. Joseph is next. Hey, Joseph, what's up?
Hey, Brian. All right, here's my piece. Hearing all the stuff about from other callers about Trump is turning this country into what Germany was been during World War II makes me show that this is what Trump wanted. This is his retribution, and I'm about fed up with it. And also hearing stories about Abrego Garcia has been released, and then all of a sudden he's been sent to ICE again. I mean, this is what Trump wants. He just wants to continue to punish any immigrants for to show them what happens if they ever do come back. Even Tom Homan said the same thing. He just wants to see them back to Uganda or worse.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he talks about how he's ended 12 wars. I mean, the guy is obviously mentally deranged. He takes credit for things that he has nothing to do with. And then when things go bad and things go wrong, he immediately blames the Joe Biden administration for everything. This is a playbook. The MAGA playbook will continue. Things will continue to go down the toilet, and he will continue to blame Joe Biden every single day when we have this Ukraine war with Russia, and it continues. And now Putin doesn't want to meet with Zelensky. Instead of taking ownership that he has failed, because he hasn't taken any ownership for anything that he's done in his life, unless it's a positive or lies about it, he blames Joe Biden. He calls it Joe Biden's war. It's insane. And he blames, Joe Biden for the withdrawal in Afghanistan. Yet what we know is that Donald Trump had the exact same plan. Literally, the exact same withdrawal plan was put in place under the Trump administration. But, many of his supporters are stupid, so they don't know that.
I agree on that one, too. And also, all that Trump is doing, like I say, while he wants to go after Chicago and other places that are Democrat states, goes to show that this is what, like I say, Trump wants to be like Adolf Hitler, and he wants to continue what Hitler has done back then. I mean, can you imagine what it's going to be like in California? It's going to be terrible, disturbing, disgusting. It's going to be fascist police states all over the place. And
we're seeing it in D.C. right now. We're going to see it in Chicago and other cities. The way they treat the homeless people and minorities, and they brag about, oh, look at all these arrests we made. Yeah, there's a few arrests from violent criminals, and that's great. I support that. But the overwhelming majority of arrests that have been made in D.C. are misdemeanors. They get booked and they leave. If anything, it's just costing taxpayers more money, and it's not allowing the local police to be able to do their job. It's despicable. It's disgusting. And Donald Trump and his supporters are bragging about it. Just joining us, you're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP. We appreciate you being here with us. We're also on the YouTube Super Chat where your questions and comments can be heard. And we want to thank some others, including John, who made a very generable donation. John Chalmers, thank you so much for your donation. We appreciate you. Mary made a donation on pushingthelimits.live. Mary says, thank you for what you do. Well, thank you, Mary. Without people like you, we wouldn't be here. We appreciate your calls very, very much. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you would like to be a part of the conversation. Thank you, Charlie. Did I say thank you? Thank you, Charlie, for your donation. Charlie says, thanks, Brian. Thank you. Appreciate your donation. He was in the YouTube Super Chat. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Why don't we go to Nicole? Nicole is next up on PTL. Hey, Nicole, what's going on?
Oh, hi, Brian. How you doing?
Good. What's on your mind today?
I don't know if you noticed, there was a video of this man. I believe he was had a cane or something like that, and I saw like 4 or 5 men around surrounding him that were dressed in regular clothing. And I was looking at this video. I'm like, seems to me this guy's getting mugged. Like, why don't somebody help this man? And then the person that was recording it had indicated that that was ICE, and you could hear this man screaming and saying, "Please help me!" And they shoved him, into the car. And I'm like, okay, so now they're not going to have on an ICE identification. They're going to be having on regular clothing and just just kidnapping people and putting them in, their car to take them away. And do you think at this rate that we may end up going to war between the citizens and ICE?
If you had told me this and asked me this question a year ago, I would have said, no way, you're crazy. But I have to tell you, I understand why people think that could happen now. I understand why you would ask that question. Do I think that's going to happen? I hope not, but I can't sit here and say, no, it's never going to happen. I can't say that. I can't say we're not going to be headed towards martial law. I can't say this isn't going to happen because Donald Trump has shown time and time again he does not respect the rule of law. He never has his entire life. We have a terrible stacked Republican conservative Supreme Court that have given him immunity. He can do basically whatever he wants. He's a wannabe dictator mob boss. So I can't answer your question and say, no, I wish I had a better answer for you. It's possible.
Yeah, I hope not. It's really not looking good at all. It's actually looking pretty bad.
I'm sorry. I wish I had a better answer for you, my dear, but I'm always going to be honest with all of you. It's a fair question that you asked. This is where we're headed. Number to call again if you want to be a part of the program. We have one phone line open, 702-221-7283. By the way, which is very rare. Let's see. Who are we going to next year? Let's go to Jong. Jong is next up on PTL. Hi, Jong. What's going on?
Hi, Brian. This is Jong from Anchorage, Alaska.
Oh, thank you for calling.
And yeah, no problem. So I know we had the president of South Korea visit President Trump earlier today at the White House.
Yep.
But I'm not sure if you were aware, our previous South Korean president got impeached and got out of office by the parliament, voting him out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was wondering, in your opinion, what would have happened if you saw the previous president, Yoon Suk-yeol, meet up with Trump, and those two presidents, laughing and smiling of what their achievement was, because the previous South Korean president, he enacted martial law into the capital city of Seoul.
Right.
And they had enough parliament members to stop that within 4 hours and made him look like a fool. What do you think would have happened if Trump and Yoon Suk-yeol had met up?
Well, I think Donald Trump would have treated him a very similar way that he treated Kim Jong-un. He actually praised Kim Jong-un in that press conference earlier today. Another evil, murderous dictator who murdered his own brother, or brother-in-law, I think it was. So, I think it would have gone probably very similar. As you know, Donald Trump looks up to dictators and bad people. And I think it would continue to go in that direction. He looks up to people like Viktor Orban. He looks up to people like Vladimir Putin. He looks up to evil, murderous dictators. So, and Kim Jong-un, another one. That's how I think it would go.
Right. And, as part of the statement that the South Korean president, Lee Jae-myung, made, he mocked Trump to maybe building a Trump tower in Pyongyang and play golf with the evil dictator that's in North Korea. So I know that all sounds ridiculous and everything, but
no, it's not ridiculous. I think you ask a very fair question, and I don't think you sound ridiculous at all. It's ridiculous what Donald Trump is doing. It's ridiculous what his administration is doing. It's ridiculous the people that are completely unqualified in almost every position, except for maybe a Marco Rubio, who has, again, wearing the Donald Trump knee pads 24/7. But for the most part, everybody in his administration is unqualified. The Pete Hegseths of the world, the Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s of the world, Stephen Miller's of the world, as I call him, Hitler Jr. It's despicable. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Miss Johnson is next up on PTL. Hello, Miss Johnson.
Hello, how are you,
Hey.
Brian? I was cooking my dinner. I missed talking to you because I've been so busy.
Dinner? That's an early dinner, man. What?
I know. I'm going to send you an email later on, tell you what's going on.
Okay.
So I got four things to say, and I'm not even going to take too much of your time. I'm piggybacking on the gentleman's call that called about 6-7 calls ago. And he said that Donald Trump is miserable. He's miserable. And I'm going to tell you something. Everybody that has breath in their bodies will reap what they sow. And he is reaping what he sows. Okay? He is rotting in front of all of us. And we are going to see him go down. That is exactly what we're looking at. That's number one. Number two, when he had that meeting with Zelensky is a very intelligent man. But because of the language barrier, he was trying to say to Donald, you didn't give me all that money. Because Donald Trump didn't give him all the money. He took the rest of that money and put it in his pocket. That's what he did. Number three, he's the worst president ever. His picture can't even be hung in the presidential club. They have a club that they go to, and all the living presidents voted for him not to ever show up, for him not to be a member. That tells you something right there.
No,
and
you're
number
right.
four,
Yep.
and I'm black, and I'm proud to be black, and I don't ever want to be any other color but what I am. But what he seems to think, because he's putting all these National Guards into the urban areas, is he forgetting that 77% of the crimes are committed by Caucasian people? He doesn't understand that.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand the SNAP benefit.
Well, guess what?
Because
100
the white women get him first.
100%.
And then the second people to get him is white men.
100% of
he
100%
can't
of
stand black
100% of orange people in the White House are felons. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah. Well, I had to get that off my chest.
I'm
because
glad
I'm
you
just
did,
sick of him.
my dear. I'm glad
And
you did. That's partly what this show is all about. Getting stuff off your chest. Donald Trump has too much on his chest to take too much time. Let's go to X. X is next up on PTL. Hey, X, what's going on?
Hello, Brian. How are you doing today?
Good. What's on your mind today?
Oh, what I wanted to ask you was today, me and you probably have a few disagreements here and there, but what I wanted to tell you was, did you see Trump signed an executive order that, if you burn the American flag, you get 1 year in jail, regardless of who the president is.
Donald Trump
whether
doesn't
we
have,
like him or not.
Donald Trump doesn't have the authority to do that, by the way. If you look up our Constitution and the rule of law, Donald Trump does not have the authority to implement that. It's unconstitutional.
Then I guess it'll get struck down.
I think it will. I think he's an imbecile to even. Okay, so if you burn an American flag, you think you should go to jail for that?
Regardless of who the president is, if you're an American person and you burn the flag down, then because you're hating on you're against America, and that's wrong. You could be disagreeing with the president. That's totally legit. That's totally cool. But burn a flag down, it's just not acceptable, regardless of who the president is. Regardless,
it's not acceptable. So if you burn a flag, you think you should go to jail. What do you think should happen to people who beat cops on January 6th?
That thing has been completely done with. They should go to jail too, regardless. But
are they hostages? Okay, but the guy who wants to implement a law, by the way, it's unconstitutional, and he's not going to be able to do it. But the point that I'm trying to make is the guy that you seem to be okay with him punishing people who burn a flag, but yet you're somehow a hostage and a patriot if you beat a cop on January 6th. Is that fair?
I didn't say that.
I didn't say you said that. That's what Donald Trump said.
I know. But you see how you jumped the topic from what's going on right now.
That's not my. That's because I'll tell you why. Because that's not my priority. If somebody is not a violent criminal and in their backyard or in public they want to burn a flag, guess what? If they're not hurting anybody, I don't care. Just like I don't care if somebody wanted to burn a Joe Biden flag or a Donald Trump flag. It's a free country. It's a free country.
If they want to burn Donald Trump's flag, Joe Biden's flag, so be it. I'm okay with that. But the American flag, people have died in the military, for the USA. So
did people die? Did people die? Okay, so here's my question to you, X. We'll agree to disagree on that topic, but my question to you is this: you called in today because you're very frustrated at people that burn flags. Aren't you frustrated at Donald Trump not giving people due process in this country, deporting a bunch of nonviolent criminals? Look at the way Garcia is being treated. Aren't you frustrated at the fact that Donald Trump seems to consistently go after black mayors in these cities where the crime rates are going down? DC crime has been going down up to 30%. Same thing in Chicago. Doesn't that concern you more than people that burn a flag? Doesn't it concern you more that we have a 34-count felon in office, an adjudicated rapist? We'll agree to disagree on the flag burning stuff. That's not tops on my priority list. And by the way, neither is Cracker Barrel or transgenders. But why is it people that sort of support Trump always talk about these issues that are not top 20 issues? Burning flags is not a top 20 issue. It's just not.
It's not an issue, regardless. It's not pretty.
It's still an issue. Okay, but all those things that I mentioned, would you say those issues are maybe a little bit more important to you, or?
Like, somehow they're saying he's sending, going after black mayors and things. Like, there's been a history of catch and release bails.
Okay, X. Let's hear me out on this, okay? Did you hear the stats that I just put out? Per capita, Chicago and DC are not tops when it comes to violent crime. DC crime, violent crime has gone down up to 30%. Same thing in Chicago. Chicago, violent crime is down 35%. If they wanted to, they could find cities that are far worse per capita when it comes to violent crime. Why has he not done that? Why did he choose Chicago and DC? Now, I think I know the answer to that, but I'm asking you, why did he single out DC, Baltimore, Chicago? Why do you think he's singling out those cities and not discussing those cities that have white mayors or white governors that are Republican?
Donald Trump. Look, listen, I'm not Donald Trump's mind, so I can't.
You're not in his mind.
I'll answer the question.
You're not in his mind.
But I will answer. But
you don't know.
But I will answer what a reasonable person, who is a centrist, would reasonably think. Like he's sending those, people to Washington, Chicago, and California. I guess, if we're talking about it, because it's believe it or not, there's a lot of violent crimes happening in California and in Illinois. There's people who want the federal.
All right, X, hang on. We're getting X.
I read an article.
X, we're getting into the weeds. Hang on. X, we're getting into the weeds here. X, I don't agree with him sending out and deploying these troops. However, don't you think if he's going to do that to a few cities, they should probably be the most dangerous cities? He's not doing that. Don't you have a problem with that? And then you say, I don't know why he's doing DC. You didn't even give me an answer. And you don't think it has anything to do with minorities and the fact that you have black mayors, a black governor. You can't come up with a reason why he's doing this when it comes to DC or when it comes to Baltimore or Chicago. Wouldn't you want to deploy? And by the way, I don't agree with him deploying the National Guard, but wouldn't you say he should probably do that on the most dangerous of cities? Wouldn't that be the logical thing to do? And you can't come up with a reason why he's not doing that? I can tell you why. Because they're black. I'll tell you why. These are black mayors, black governor. He's going after these cities that are run by black people, and he's going after these cities, many of whom do not support Donald Trump. It's political for him, and it's theater. And you don't deploy the National Guard for theater. It's a joke.
It's possible that you're right, but but the thing is,
it's not possible. I am. It can't be proven. Then give me a logical reason why I'm wrong. Give me one logical reason why.
It's wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Okay.
But I'm saying
then give me if it can't be proven, then give me another alternative reason why he did this. Why? Tell me. By the way, Chicago per capita, Chicago's 92nd in the nation when it comes to violent crime. Tell me why he's deploying National Guard to Chicago.
Maybe it's not Chicago. Maybe it's
it is Chicago. It is Chicago because he said it is Chicago because he said today he's going to be doing it in Chicago. It is Chicago. 92nd in the country. Why? Why is he doing that?
Citizens in Chicago. There's a lot of citizens like
There's
Chicago,
a lot of you don't deploy the National Guard because they quote have a lot of citizens. That makes no sense. What about Memphis, Tennessee?
A lot of citizens want it.
Memphis, Tennessee is number one. Why is he not mentioned Memphis, Tennessee? I don't care what article you read. Memphis, Tennessee ranks number one. How about Arkansas? Little Rock, Arkansas. That's number 4. Why doesn't he bring up some of these cities that are run by Republicans and white people? Can you please explain why? Give me one logical reason.
I don't know. I didn't say.
I don't know. You don't know.
You're wrong. I said.
No, I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. But you're trying to rationalize his racism. You're trying to rationalize
what. Proven. I'm not rationalizing.
Then why? Then give me an answer. Why? Right. Then give me a reason why. Why would he deploy the troops to a city that is 92nd in the country in violent crime? Why would he do that? But then he doesn't send anybody to Little Rock, Arkansas.
Maybe because they don't count certain crimes. Catch and release policy.
Oh, that's not true. Listen, sir, every crime is reported. Okay. That's not true. What you're saying is not true. I'm giving you the statistics. You can't come up with a logical reason why, because there is no logical reason. The only reason why he's doing this is because he's a racist. The only reason why he's doing this is because he wants to own the lib. The only reason why he's doing this is because these are black mayors, black governor. He's doing it to Democrat cities. And the reason why he's doing that is to own the libs. That's the only reason. You couldn't come up with one logical reason why he's doing this when I gave you the stats. Because he's a racist, X. He's a racist. When is it going to take you long enough to understand that? The same guy who said, I don't want black people counting my money in my casinos. I want Jews counting my money. But I suppose you would make a defense for that statement too, or the thousands of discrimination lawsuits that he had to pay out in New York City because he didn't want black people living in his buildings. But you guys keep defending him. You keep making excuses for him. When are you going to smell the coffee? Wake up. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Siobhan. Siobhan is next up on PTL. Hi, Siobhan. What's going on?
Hi, Brian. Okay, I was listening to your conversation, and it sounded like to me that man was Hispanic, and I'm a black female, and I'm wondering, I don't know why he has so much animosity towards black people when we're the reason why they have rights in this country.
Yeah. Well, here's what
with Paul died and everything to give everybody rights in this country.
Well, I can tell you right now, my dear, and I agree with you, Governor Pritzker right now is holding a press conference as we speak. And he just said there's no emergency in Chicago that calls for armed military forces intervention. That's the governor. Oh, by the way, a Democrat governor who is very anti-Donald Trump. And I'm sure that has nothing to do with that or the fact that there's a black mayor in Chicago. It's every decision that Donald Trump makes. It's to benefit his base and to benefit white privilege. That's for the most part. He attacks the needy. He attacks the poor. He attacks migrants, whether they're documented or not. I don't care. He attacks. People
need to wake up to it.
Well, yeah, because it's Make America White Again. I've been saying that for years. It's Make America White Again, and we have an orange white supremacist who is the president of the United States.
Exactly. But I just hate to get that out because I've been listening. I listen to your radio station every day.
Thank you.
And I'm just tired of these racist people.
So am I. You don't. And let me tell you something. You don't have to be black to be tired of racism, because I am one of them, and I am with you. And there are a lot of good people in this country that are tired of it as well. And I'm tired of it as well. And you will always get a platform to speak on this show, my dear. And I appreciate your call. Governor Pritzker is handing Donald Trump a new one right now. And again, you're going to see these governors and these mayors that are going to be echoing what Pritzker has said. It's not needed. It's not needed. 702-221-7283. Shelly's next. What's up, Shelly?
Hey, Brian. My head hurts already. The call that you had in the beginning of the show, this man was saying that the people on January 6th were patriots, and the people that were at Black Lives Matter rallies and protests, they were animals. Why were they animals? That pissed me off. I'm sorry. Because you know why he called them animals. And I am getting so sick so sick of this man and getting so sick of these people that cannot see Donald Trump for who he is. He doesn't give a crap about you. He thinks you're trash. All he wanted was your vote so he could stay out of jail, you idiot.
Well, obviously. Shelley, obviously, I agree with you 150%, and I do appreciate your call. That's, it was always about him. It wasn't about everybody else. As I just mentioned, Governor Pritzker is holding a press conference now, and he is tearing Donald Trump a new one. And he says there's no justification to deploy the military into Chicago. He's 150% correct. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Dino is next up on PTL. Hey, Dino, what's going on?
Hey, Brian. Two things. One thing, love your show.
Thank you.
You do good work.
Thank you.
Second thing is, for the love of God, would you please let your guests respond, or the people that you're debating with respond, before you come out with something right on top of them? For me, would you please do that?
Well, I try to do that, but the reason why sometimes I talk over them is because when they say something that is not true, and when they say something that is a lie, I don't want them to continue to spread that lie, if that makes sense. Sometimes I understand what you're saying. It's better to just let them go and make them sound like the idiots that they are. But my intention is to not spread propaganda or misinformation. And if somebody says something that is blatantly false, I try to cut them off on that. But I hear what you're saying, Dino. I understand.
Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you, Dino. I take some constructive criticism. I'm not perfect. I'm not the best. Okay, many people are saying 702-221-7283. Let's go to Tim. Tim is next up on PTL. What's up, Tim?
Hey, you do know the mayor of Little Rock's a Democrat, right?
Yes. Who's the governor?
I don't know, but I mean, the governor doesn't have much to do with the city.
Do you know why? Do you know why I brought up Little Rock?
Because you thought it was a white mayor.
No.
You thought it was a Republican. You said it was a Republican mayor.
No, not true. I brought up Little Rock because they're number 4 when it comes to violence, criminal violence. And the point that I was trying to make, other than the fact that he is going after black mayors and going after Democrat states and cities, the reason why I brought up Little Rock is because they're number 4. And if Donald Trump really had the true intention of lowering crime rates in the United States and making us safer, why wouldn't he go out and deploy the troops in Little Rock? Why wouldn't he deploy troops in Memphis, Tennessee? That's number 1. That's the question I'm asking here. Now, if you don't think Donald Trump's a racist, you have the right to feel that way, sir, but I disagree with you.
And you said their mayor was a Republican.
Never said that. Never said the Little Rock mayor. Never said. So that's why you're calling into this show, sir. You don't understand the point that I'm trying to make, which is, why is he not going after the most dangerous cities in this country?
No, I don't understand. You have a president, whether they're Republican or Democrat or whatever, trying to fight crime and make life better for people that live in the inner cities. Most people in the inner cities are African American.
Okay.
If the crime rate goes down, that's making their life better.
The crime rate, violent crime in Chicago is ranked 93rd. Violent crime in Chicago is down 35%. You're the one that's bringing up the race card now. It has nothing to do with the color of skin and everything to do with this is the city that has more crime. So my question to you, sir, is why is he choosing the cities that don't have the most crime? Why is he choosing Chicago? Why is he choosing Washington? Why is he choosing Washington, D.C.? If it's really about the most crime in the most dangerous cities, why isn't he choosing to deploy the troops to those cities? Please give me one logical reason why.
No, he may go after those cities next time.
He may. No. My question wasn't, is he going to go after those cities in the future? Why isn't he going after? Wouldn't your top priority be go after the most dangerous cities? Number 1. Why would his first reaction to be to deploy to Washington, D.C. and Chicago, who are not even close to the top 5 most dangerous cities in this country? I didn't ask you if you think he might do it in the future. Why isn't he doing it now? Give me one logical reason. You don't know.
I don't know what.
You don't. Very convenient. Very convenient. You don't know, and you didn't think about that, but you wanted to call into this radio and say, "Hey, Brian, do you know that it's a white Democrat that's running Little Rock?" Why don't you think for a second of why Donald Trump is doing this? Why don't you?
There you are again.
Why don't you?
Not a white.
Why don't you?
It's not a white Democrat.
Why don't you correlate the difference?
It's not a white. It's not a white.
Okay,
Democrat.
guess what? At this point, I don't care in this conversation. You're not answering any of the real.
You don't care. You don't care now.
It's the prevalent questions that I am asking you that you say I don't know. I don't know.
Why are you for criminals and higher crime?
Why am I for criminals? Did you vote for Donald Trump, sir?
No, I didn't.
Okay, Donald Trump is a 34-count felon. Who did you vote for?
I didn't vote for any of them.
Oh, you didn't vote for anybody. How nice of you. You didn't like any of them. So tell me why you didn't vote for Kamala Harris and you decided to sit this one out and you didn't vote for Donald Trump either. But yet you seem to defend Donald Trump.
I'm not defending Donald Trump. I'm defending him fighting crime.
You're defending him fighting crime. All right, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Donald Trump.
Here we go. 34 count.
No, let's talk. No. Let's talk about. Sir, I'm not talking about Donald Trump now. Why did he pardon a bunch of people who beat cops on January 6th?
On January 6th.
Tell me. Is that fighting crime? Yes or no? Answer the question. No, I've got plenty more, sir, but answer my question. I'm sorry it's not. I'm sorry it's not. Okay, be quiet, because if we're going to have a conversation, if we're going to go back and forth, you have to listen. You just said, quote, Donald Trump is fighting crime. So my question to you, and by the way, I have plenty more questions I can ask you. Is it fighting crime when you call people who beat cops hostages and patriots and you give them a pardon? Sir, is that your definition of fighting crime?
No, that was wrong.
It's not. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, he shouldn't have done that. So don't tell me he's fighting crime if it fits your narrative. He's not fighting crime only if it's convenient for him. So he's not fighting crime. Let's move on to something else, sir. You've proven that he's a hypocrite. Thank you for answering that question honestly. Why didn't you vote for Kamala Harris? What was so horrible about her?
I just don't like the abortion policies and all that.
What policy? Which policy? So tell me, which policy?
Her being for abortion.
Her being for abortion. Okay, sir, it's not being for abortion. It's about giving the woman the right to choose. So let's go with that for a moment. Are you okay with a teenager getting raped or the victim of incest being forced to have that baby? Yes or no?
No, I mean, that's
okay.
Well,
guess what?
Right.
Guess what? Because Roe versus Wade was overturned, there are states in this country where if a woman is raped or the victim of incest, they are forced to have that child. Why not give?
No, they are not.
Oh, really? Oh, really, sir? Would you like to make a wager on that? In some states in this country, in half the states in this country, you're not allowed to have an abortion. In some states in this country, there are no exceptions, including incest. You have no idea. Okay, I just told you the facts, sir. I'm sorry you don't know what you're talking about. You seem to
going in and having an abortion because you don't want a baby is 100% wrong, no matter how you.
And that's your personal opinion. So why should you tell other people what to do with their bodies? You don't know what it's like to be pregnant. How dare you tell a woman what to do with her own body? And that's why you didn't vote.
How dare you tell a woman it's right to have an abortion when you don't know?
No. Here's the difference. I don't tell. Here's the difference. Hey, buddy, here's the difference. Here's the difference between me and you. I don't tell women what to do when it comes to anything. You do. I'm not telling. Hey, be quiet and listen. I'm not telling women.
Hello?
Yeah, hello? Why don't you listen? Listen for a moment, sir. I'm talking now.
Have you ever wanted?
Sir, I'm talking now. That means you shut up. Okay? Now, I wish you were aborted. I'll be honest with you, sir. But you see, you just said, why do you tell women to get abortions? I never tell women what to do. You see, that's the difference between me and you jackass. I don't tell a woman what to do. What I say is it's their decision, and they should be entitled to make that decision for themselves. It's their decision and their family. I don't tell women to get abortions. I don't tell women what to do. If a woman wants to have 100 babies, they can have 100 babies. If a woman wants to get an abortion, she should be allowed to get an abortion. That's the fundamental difference between somebody like you and me. I don't tell women what to do, sir. And by the way, Donald Trump, I guarantee you, has had abortions in his life. So other than abortion, and you clearly are uneducated on this topic because there are some states in this country where you are not allowed to have an abortion if you're a victim of incest or rape. Give me another reason why you didn't vote for Kamala Harris, sir, please.
For one, I guarantee you Donald Trump has never had an abortion.
Sir, answer my question. That's the second thing you don't like about Kamala Harris. We've already discussed abortion. Give me something else that you can't stand about Kamala Harris.
Do those babies have no rights?
Sir, we are already off the abortion topic, okay?
No,
so let's go with that. Let's go with that. You care about a human being's rights. Is that fair, sir? Is that a fair statement to make? Is that fair?
Yeah,
what would you say about the people that are not getting due process in this country? Some even American citizens and nonviolent criminals, some being sent to El Salvador prisons. Do you care about their rights, sir? Or is it only unborn babies, sir? Do you care about their rights as well?
No, let's quote the 14th Amendment to me.
Sir, in the Constitution. Okay, you want to talk about the Constitution? Let's do that, since you avoided my question. Does it say any person? Sir, I need you to listen now. You're not going to outsmart me. In the Constitution, does it say any person deserves due process, or does it say any citizen? Answer the question. I'm only going to ask it one more time or the conversation is over. I'm at bottom down again. It said, does it say any person or does it say any citizen? Which one, sir?
Any person.
Yeah, exactly. Have a nice day. No, not true. That's not what it says in our Constitution. That is not what it says in our Constitution, and you are an imbecile. It's not any citizen deserves the right to due process. It's any person. You are an uneducated and ill-informed moron, and I wish you were aborted. There you go, sir. Do you have it? I wish you were aborted because I don't want people like you on the planet because you're an imbecile. And you defend Donald Trump, and the only reason why you say you didn't vote for Kamala Harris is because of abortion. It's because of abortion. So you're okay. You don't even understand the policy in this country where half the people, half the states in this country, a woman doesn't have the right to choose. And in some of those states, no exceptions. You have no idea what you're talking about. And your number one issue is abortion. And you don't even understand what's going on in this country. How can I have a conversation with you? You're an imbecile. You want to lecture me about the Constitution? It says any person has the right to due process. You jackass. But you care so much about the Constitution, but you have no problem with Donald Trump ripping up parts of the Constitution. Have a nice day, sir. By the way, I do mean that. I wish he was aborted. I'm not making that up. The YouTube super chat, Britzker says, why don't they put Maxwell on a lie detector? Then we'll see who's lying. Yeah, I would love to see Maxwell on a lie detector. And my first question would be, how many children did Donald Trump allegedly abuse? 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you would like to be a part of the conversation. That's 702-221-7283. Fanatic says this guy doesn't want January 6th or the SA case against Trump to be brought up. But I bet when he brings up OJ, he talks about the murders. Oh, probably. Yeah, I would say you're probably right about that one. Notice how they don't want to talk about facts on this show. They don't want to talk about the most dangerous cities in this country. And they have no answer when I say, why didn't he deploy the troops into Memphis, Tennessee? Number one. Why didn't he deploy the troops into Little Rock, Arkansas? Why did he deploy troops deploying troops into Chicago or into D.C.? Or he wants to deploy troops into Baltimore. Black mayors, a black governor. But you see, they won't come up with an answer because they're imbeciles. 702-221-7283 let's go to Tez. Tez is next on PTL. Hi, Tez.
I love you, bro. I know it's a feisty day for you, but let me clean up after the redneck if I can before I answer my question. So the states that have total abortion bans, not coincidentally, or red states, it is Alabama, Arkansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Missouri, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Tennessee, and Texas.
And by the way, let's clarify. I'm glad you're doing this, Tez. So just to clarify, all those states that you just mentioned, there are no exceptions.
That's correct.
So so to my slow caller who called in last call, who said that wasn't true, he said his number one issue and the reason why he didn't vote for Kamala Harris was abortion. And the guy is so stupid and uneducated, he doesn't even know that there are multiple states in this country, red states, where abortion, there are no exceptions. How do you have a conversation with somebody like that?
Well, he was probably married to his first cousin anyway. But now I can go on to my original statement I wanted to let you know.
Yes.
All this Trump annex, this is all misdirection. They don't want you to look at the Epstein files. They don't want to talk about Ghislaine Maxwell. It's all misdirection. It's a retribution presidency. He's trying to catch back on all his enemies. And I think the worst part about what's going on in this country right now is the abject failure of the media to ask questions when they have the opportunity to put him on the spot. It's pathetically sad.
I agree with you, my friend. And I'm glad you called up with those facts. I'm glad that the majority of the listeners on PTL are like Tez. They're educated. They're informed. Once in a while, we get a MAGA ill-informed jackass who calls into the show who says, I don't like Kamala Harris because, I hate abortion. And then when I ask him in how many states in this country are there no exceptions, he says, no, that's allowed. There's always exceptions. These idiots and their number one issue, they don't even know what they're talking about. All right, let's see here. Let's go to Kevin. Kevin is next on PTL. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Brian. I love your show and I love your passion. If you were a doctor, though, I'd kind of criticize you on your bedside manner.
That's okay.
But anyway, listen, the last guy that you talked to, he didn't like Kamala Harris for 3 reasons. She's from the inner city. She's a woman.
And she's black.
And
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want to be honest and say those things.
Of course.
But we all see it. And that's the beauty of our time right now. Everybody's saying everything that's on their mind. So people are not hiding from their real thinking. And us on the left need to think with, we like strategy. We don't need to get so mad about it. We need to stay honed in on what the important things are. And that's showing Trump to be the bum he is and all the people around him.
Yeah, you're right. And it's, there are people that still support Donald Trump that have no idea of the policies that are hurting this country. They have no idea how dangerous Donald Trump is. And for our futures, for our children's futures, they have no idea. Nimrod calls into the show. Do you know who the mayor is of Little Rock, Arkansas? Trying to get me in a gotcha moment when the guy doesn't even know what he's talking about. He has no idea. Let's go to Kim. Kim is next up on PTL. Hi, Kim.
Hey, Brian. It's Boo Boo from YouTube. Oh, my word. Sitting through that, I swear the best part of that man ran down his mother's left leg. That's all I got to say on it. So I was away last week. I missed you guys terribly, but I wanted to tell you a little story. It's a little opposite of Mark's story that he told about the jumper cables that happened over the weekend when I was away. So I had to stop in the store to get some soft drinks for our room.
Yeah.
And there was an elderly woman at the counter buying her groceries, and she had a SNAP card. So the effects of SNAP are taking place now.
Yeah.
The pullback, but she was online. She had a diabetic pump, so I knew she was a diabetic. She rang through her items, and she owed like $15. And they separated all the items that were not now covered under SNAP. And she had tea biscuits, she had candy in case she went into diabetic, a low real quick, and she had no money to pay for it.
That's horrible. That's absolutely horrible. But
Yeah.
that's what Donald Trump is doing to this country. That's exactly what Trump is doing to this country. And that's a woman, my dear, who needs help. And those are the type of people that Donald Trump is going to take their Medicaid coverage away. Those are the kind of people where Donald Trump is going to take their food stamps away, while the richest billionaires in this country get the biggest tax breaks. I'm sick of it, and you should be too. And I appreciate your call, my dear. Thank you. All right, let's go to the UK. Let's go to Paul. Paul is next up on PTL. Hey, Paul, what's going on?
Hey there, Brian. A point I'd like to make to you, independent media. I listened to Jim Jordan, a guy who's covered up sexual abuse, being interviewed, presenting evidence given by Ghislaine Maxwell, a known liar and paedophile, as if it was good evidence and a reason for us to believe that Donald Trump's not a paedophile. Now, here's my point. In the UK, guys like Jim Jordan are hounded by the press. Sometimes we hate our press. They go too far, especially with celebrities. They're standing under female actresses with cameras up their dresses and stuff. They're horrible. But I'm happy about the horribleness of our press at the moment, because somebody like Jim Jordan just wouldn't get away with this type of thing because he would be hounded wherever he went. And we've seen some of this, a little bit of this happening in America. Here's my suggestion. You guys do a fantastic job. Seriously, what you're doing, Brian, and I've seen you also go out on the streets and talk to people. My suggestion is that the independent media, who people like me listen to now, like the Midas Touch, like you, like Dean, and so on and so forth, have an arm of actual reporters, actual press, not just, in radio shows or at desks, who go after these people and hound them.
Well, I have some news for you. Some breaking news. I think I shared this last week. I'm going to be doing, in September, I'm going to be doing some man on the street stuff, and I'm going to be debating people because I'm such a master debater, my producer says. I'm going to be debating people on the streets. I'm going to do more man on the street stuff. I'm going to air it on this show for content. So I do plan on doing that myself. I'm going to be out there myself and doing it. So I do agree with you that I think more people need to do that. I agree.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? But an actual proper arm of, we are now a new type of reporter, a real reporters, like your real talk shows, which you are. You give us real news. also have guys on the street, like what you're doing. By the way, I sent you an email with my suggestion for your banner.
Oh, okay. I'll take a look at that. Yeah, my producer's
I sent it straight away on the day you.
I'll take a look.
If you haven't got it,
I'll take a look, my friend. I appreciate, by the way, everybody. We're going through all those emails and we're going to choose one. But Paul, that's really nice of you. We're going to take a look at every single one of them and put something together. But I appreciate you doing that, Paul.
Immediately. And I think it will definitely attract some interest.
Okay. I'll take a look at it, my friend, and then call me back. I'll tell you what I think. Thank you so much, Paul. Good to hear from you from the UK. Shelley on the YouTube super chat says Dems need to take back the phrase pro-life because Republicans couldn't give a damn about a child after they're born. You are so right about that, Shelley. You are so right about that. They only care until the child is born. Then they want to take away maternity leave and basically every government program that can help a mom raise a child. It's a joke. They call themselves pro-life. They're not pro-life. They're anti-abortion. Let's go to Mary. Mary is next up on PTL. Hey, Mary, what's going on?
Hi, Brian. I haven't called in a while, but I'm calling to say that there's people that are following this asshole of our president.
Watch the language. Watch the language. Yep.
They don't realize that their families are being affected by this. Not just them, but their families that's coming after them. Their children, their grandchildren, cousins, nieces, and nephews. How stupid could these people be? And one other thing I want to say is that
go ahead.
Very stupid because it's not, it's affecting everybody. And not only that, I wish Trump's mother would have aborted his ass when she was carrying him. He's worthless. What a piece of crap that man is.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, my friend. I listen. There's a lot of people in life that I wish were aborted. Donald Trump would probably be one of the top people on my list. I agree with you. 702-221-7283. Frank is next. Hey, Frank.
Abortion. Pay for abortion.
Frank.
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
Good.
Did you happen to see that another Republican last week was charged with pornography in that pedophile?
Are you talking about the superintendent of schools? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I think it was a congressman.
Oh, I'm not aware of that.
I saw Thursday on a blog, and this party of pedophiles, he's the king of pedophiles. It's pistol Pete pedophile Trump.
Well, guess
That's
what? Frank, here's what I'll say to that, and I'm unaware of that, but it doesn't surprise me. The people out there, the MAGA supporters and the MAGA cult that have been talking about the elitist left being pedophiles and all this other stuff are the people who literally support a pedophile. I want you all to think about that for a moment. All right, let's get back to the phone calls, and let's go to Jeff, who's calling from Las Vegas. What's going on, Jeff?
How you doing? President Trump signed this executive order saying that you can't burn the American flag, which, I find despicable to do that, but yet he's claiming that that's an incitement to riot. Now, I remember January 6th, there was no one burning any American flags, but they were waving American flags and carrying American flags while they literally destroyed the U.S. Capitol.
Yeah.
So carrying the American flag is incitement to commit a riot.
I agree with you. Let me be clear on this one. If Donald Trump saw a bunch of Proud Boys with swastika flags, I guarantee you he wouldn't say a word. He wouldn't say a word. So, this is ridiculous. By the way, Donald Trump does not have the authority to implement this into law. He doesn't have the authority to do it, so I don't think it's going to pass.
Yeah, but see, this is the kind of mission creep that he's doing to say, well, if this is incitement, if you drop an ice cream cone on the sidewalk, that's incitement to commit a riot.
That's true. I mean, the guy who literally incited the January 6th is the guy that is talking about incitement, burning a flag. Listen, it's not something that I would do. It's not something that I condone. But I think we have bigger fish to fry. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Peter. Peter is next up on PTL. Hey, Peter.
Brian, what's up?
What's up, Peter? What's on your mind?
Brian, I really think that you need to ease off Trump and JD.
Why is that?
With all the trash you talk about them, I think it's time to give them credit for how much they've done to normalize men wearing makeup.
Say that again. What? What did he say? Normalize men wearing makeup? I mean, that's kind of funny. Donald Trump does wear. Peter, you had me worried there for a second, my friend. I thought I was going to get into another heated debate with a MAGA supporter, but you turned out to be a friendly. Yeah.
All love. Thanks for everything, Brian.
Can you, Peter, speaking of makeup for a second, Peter, entertain this, if you will. They continue to talk about drag queen reading, right? As my phone goes off, by the way, they continue to talk about drag queen reading, and they continue to talk about, everything that doesn't matter to the American people. What do you make of that? And the fact that they talk about banning books and drag queen reading and transgenders, but they don't want to talk about the economy, or if they do, they don't want the real numbers to come out. And if they do come out, they're going to fire that person who put out the numbers.
It's the literal definition of bigotry.
It is.
First of all,
it is. You're right.
And for them to not realize that and to not understand, well, not just them, but that entire base, to just run with that while they are successfully deflecting from all the important things like the Epstein files, like the economy, the big beautiful bill, whatever it is.
Right.
They're just using the literal definition of bigotry to deflect and distract, and it's working somehow. It's working.
Unfortunately, it is working with a lot of ignorant and ill-informed people, my friend. And you're right. Donald Trump wakes up in the morning and he puts on his 8 layers of orange makeup. He puts on his girdle and he walks around like he's Superman, the morbidly obese and disgusting man who's never seen with his shirt off, by the way. I just want to add that in there. Not that anybody would really want to see that. I don't think Melania Trump has seen any body parts of his since Barron was conceived. But
Did you hear him say that he looks great in shorts?
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, he looks excellent in shorts.
Yeah, he looks great in shorts, like he lasted an hour with Stormy Daniels.
Oh God!
Thanks for the call, my friend. I appreciate it. He had me worried. Peter had me worried there for a second. He had me worried, but he came around. Number to call, by the way, if you want to be a part of the show, 702-221-7283. Again, 702-221-SAVE is the number to call. Let's go to Julie. Julie is next up on PTL. Hey, Julie, what's going on?
Well, Brian, like you said, Tennessee, the crime rates have skyrocketed. And here in Nashville, ever since Trump got elected and the big, beautiful bill was signed, people are stabbing each other. There's somebody here in Nashville that got decapitated.
Oh, no, that's horrible.
Yeah. Like, every time I look at my news app, crime has skyrocketed.
But it's interesting. You said you're in Nashville, right, my dear?
Yeah.
Interesting. In Tennessee or in Memphis, where I think you guys are number one, sadly, why has he not deployed the National Guard to Tennessee? Why Chicago? Why D.C.? Why Baltimore? Why has he not deployed the National Guard into your city? Why do you think that is?
Well, because he likes this city. I don't know. Memphis.
I think it has to do with politics. And by the way, I wanted to add the Little Rock, Arkansas mayor is a black man. So the idiot who called in before was lying. That's what I thought, by the way, but it shouldn't even matter. The point I'm trying to make is the National Guard should be deployed into cities like Memphis. The National Guard should not be deployed into D.C. or in Chicago. It's a joke. And by the way, I don't think that the deployment is going to work in Chicago either, because it's going to be a lot more difficult to deploy the National Guard into a city like Chicago than it is D.C. It makes it much easier for Donald Trump to deploy out troops in D.C. than into another city outside of D.C. So, the mayor of Little Rock, Arkansas, his name is Frank Scott Jr. He's an African-American male. So the idiot who called in again was lying. He's a Democrat. Thank you, Julie, for the phone call. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. 702-221-7283, the number to call if you would like to be a part of the conversation. It's never a real radio show if you don't have the MAGA destroyer, Darlene, joining us. Hey, Darlene, what's going on?
Hey, Brian. I'm going to try to stay calm, but it's a little hard. To the caller that was talking about abortions, let me educate you a little bit, dude. I want you to listen to me. Women do not always get abortions because they don't love babies. Do you understand? And if you don't know my story, let me tell you real quick. When I was 24 in the early 80s, my abusive, do you understand, Republican abusive boyfriend told me when he got me pregnant that if I didn't get an abortion, he would kill me.
That's
so
horrible.
then what did I do? I went to the Dale City Police Department in Oklahoma, the red state.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't help me. I said, help, will you please help me get away from me? He's going to kill me. What did they do? They said, oh, well, no, there's nothing we can do. So before you start saying women want to get rid of their babies, get educated, because that's not always the truth. And Brian can tell you.
And you know what's...
Brian, tell him how it's not just that they have procedures that need done.
Darlene, it's not even just that. And I'm sorry you had to go through that, Darlene. I really empathize with you. They make it sound like we tell women to get abortions. And it's so stupid because nobody's doing that. I'm not telling women to do anything. I don't want to tell women to do. That's the whole point of it. But these people are so stupid. They think you're telling a woman to get abortion. No, you're telling a woman not to get an abortion. I'm just giving a woman an option to do what she wants with her own body. These people are so stupid. Let's go to Paul. Paul is next up on PTL. What's going on, Paul?
Hey, man. Yeah, I'm sorry Darlene went through that. You know, this control by white men is really pissing me off, Brian. You know, what I've realized is when MAGA lost the Civil War, because that's what MAGA is, it's the modern day Confederacy, and they fought for slavery. After the Civil War, there's something called the lost cause. Are you familiar with that?
I have heard of that, yes.
Basically, they said, oh, no, it wasn't about slavery. It was about states' rights and freedom. Robert E. Lee was a hero. He was a patriot. And all the women came out and built memorials for all these people that wanted to own black people. In fact, when Mississippi made a statement about secession, they said, well, black people are the only ones that have the right skin to handle the tropical sun. If we take away slavery, it's going to be detrimental to the commerce of this country. Mm-hmm. And that's really where a lot of this came from. It's this rewriting history, whitewashing history. They want to think that basically they're losers, and they don't want to admit that they're losers. But Brian, this whole country has been about men controlling people. It's absolutely gross.
You're right.
It's just gross. I mean, this guy, the thing about this caller is we have over 40,000 people that are murdered by guns, right? Mm-hmm. And we're worried about trans people. We're worried about renaming the Gulf of Mexico. Oh my God, an American flag is on fire. Oh my God, the horrors, Brian. What are we going to do? Let's throw somebody in prison for a year. Oh, look at the brown people, Brian. They've been here for 40 years, never committed a felony. Yes, their documentation's wrong. But if you're a white man and a rapist and you molest girls in Epstein Island and you're a felon, somehow you're a hero and a patriot, Brian.
Yeah, you're right.
It's sick.
It is
absolutely sick.
You're right. Very well stated, Paul. Oh, by the way, for people out there that are fans of Mr. Paul Lance, while we have him on the line, Paul is going to be coming to town, and he's going to be hosting the show with Leonard Cardinal Thursday and Friday this week. So I know you guys are going to be pumped up for that. Paul, you ready?
Oh. On Friday, I'm going to interview Daniela, the knitting cult lady. So we're going to talk. She is an actual cult expert, and we're going to discuss the cult of MAGA. You are not going to want to miss that.
Yeah, but they'll say it's not a cult.
It's going to be fun.
Because the people that are decked out in their gold sneakers. By the way, Paul, I look forward to seeing you out here, Paul. Thank you. For the people that are decked out in their Trump sneakers and their Trump Bibles and their Trump trading cards. Oh, no, it's not a cult at all. No. Give me a break. By the way, programming note for you. Tomorrow on the program, two really good guests that I love having on. Ron Filipkowski from Midas Touch is going to start the show off with us tomorrow. You've probably seen this guy all over the networks, the national networks. He really tells us what tariffs really are doing to the country. He's a world-renowned economist. Justin Wolfers will be joining us on the show tomorrow to talk a little bit about the damage that Donald Trump is doing to our economy and the truth of who's paying for these tariffs and the damage that it'll do for years to come. And I'll ask Justin if he thinks that we are headed towards a recession. I tend to think that we are. So two big guests joining us on the show tomorrow. Thank you to everybody who helped us in the YouTube Super Chat with your donations. I remind all of you, this is an independently owned radio show. What does that mean? It means we rely on great people like you guys, and we have such a great following here at PTL Nation. We just passed 137,000 subscribers on YouTube. It seems like we just passed 50,000 not that long ago. Hopefully we'll get past 140,000 subscribers by the end of the week. That would be awesome. But really excited. hoping we get to 200,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That'd be a great goal that we could hopefully meet there. But there you have the website on the bottom of the screen. It's pushingthelimits.live. So I bring that up because we sell T-shirts and hats and PTL stuff. And my favorite shirt happens to be "Don't Be a Right-Wing Buffoon." That's my favorite shirt. That's the most popular one on my website. But if you don't want to buy anything, we accept donations. We have so many lovely people out there that make donations every month, and it doesn't matter how much it is. It's whatever you can afford. We appreciate, right? $5 a month, $10 a month, $20 a month. So you go to pushingthelimits.live. Pushingthelimits.live, and that's where you can make donations. And if you want to buy some merch, you can do that as well. We appreciate your support and everyone that has supported this show. I love you guys, and I love PTL Nation. Let's get to 150,000 subscribers maybe by the end of the week. That would be nice. Be interactive on my YouTube page, right? Subscribe, be interactive on there. I love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Ron Filipkowski and Justin Wolfer. See you tomorrow, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie?